Hi everyone and welcome back to another Broken New Game video. Today's video is dedicated to the July Clan Battle 2021. So let's go ahead and jump right into this. One of the first teams I'm going to be showing you is for Cyclops. This is going to be our trial run and this is the team that we're going to be using. The reason why I'm showing you this team is because this Mitsuki team can be used for Wyvern. It's probably one of the better Wyvern teams that I've been, sort of using over the time. But what's really interesting is we're not using Shinobu. And the reason for that is because Shinobu has a particular way she has to be built. I feel like most people quote unquote have bricked our Shinobus where she's wearing like the two middle armor pieces, but we'll talk about that later. As you can see here, the damage is pretty phenomenal, and I know it's lap 1, but showing the teams for lap 1, this team does work for lap 2 in case you're curious. Just note that Ayane is going to be more advisable in order to stop the little concrete block that he throws, or the ground thing that he throws. Ayane can essentially stop that move right there, and it can help keep your Kaoris and your Makotos alive. So it's just one thing to note as we are jumping into lap 2. But as you can see here, damage is phenomenal. Like I said, we're almost at 900k, gonna be hitting 1 mil easily with this team. And a lot of you are probably wondering what's the difference, why is it like this for Mitsuki in particular? Mostly because everyone's surviving, the TP differences and all the damage that the Cyclops does on lap 1 is completely negligible. But as you can see here, the goal is to hit 1.3 mil with this team in particular. If we can exceed that amount, that is a good thing for me, but we only managed to hit 1.2. all right, so this team, it didn't crit, and that's why it hit like this amount. But if you're wondering, let's go ahead and run the other team for the Cyclops, because this team was the cookie cutter team that you could run for the previous clan battles for Cyclops in particular. And note here, the only thing that we replaced was, instead of Mitsuki, we're going to be running Shinobu. And yes, we'll be running the Wraith team as well, because I know a lot of people are asking questions like, hey, what's the Wraith team? But let's go ahead and show how this one works. So what's really interesting and what I learned about Shinobu is whenever her dad dies, your boss, or the skull dude, he dies, you generate more TP for the boss. And since the boss is going to be getting more TP, that means he can use his UBs more often, which means he does more damage to all of our units, which means in turn, since we are getting more damage received, that means we can trigger our UBs more often. So as you can see here, Haru is able to deal her UB. I feel like he will be able to do his UB one more time because technically he uses UB early. And that's why Shinobu is so good for this particular boss. And not to mention, the Skull Dad can also take the presence of like the concrete block being thrown. But I think the concrete block thrown is only going to the highest attacker, which is usually Hiyori, which is why Hiyori is such a key unit. It's not even Shinobu or Mitsuki being changed out. Those aren't the key units, it's mostly Hiyori. So make sure to have a 5-star Hiyori in order for this team to work. If not, you can run some other units like Eriko, but it probably only works for lap 1. And mostly Eriko because she's gonna have like the highest attack, or you can run Suzuna as a replacement for Hiyori. And as you can see here, the Shinobu team actually performed a little bit better, 1.29. So it's up to you which one you want to run, but I just wanted to show these options for Cyclops in particular. And then let's go ahead and run the Wraith boss. Now, when it comes to the Wraith boss, it's pretty obvious what we should be running is going to be the Ilya team. Mostly because this dude does not have that much magical defense, and Ilya is very good at taking down this boss. Just note that this team can fail, especially on lap 2 when Ilya decides to crit herself. That is like the biggest weakness for this team. So if you get an unlucky crit by this boss, or you have an unlucky run where Ilya can crit herself, that is the moments where you essentially should be panicking. Just note that you can essentially do 1 reset per day. So in case this run fails, you can just close out, jump into the game again. You get 1 of those per day, all right? So don't waste it. And it's just one of those things that we learned over the time in clan battle. And I know this might be one of the first times I've talked about it, but I feel like I've referenced it before. But just in case you just have 1 single bad run, you're able to botch that run and you can essentially do it again. And this is mostly in case like Ilya dies, because that just happens. Or let's say you do like a crit and you do like less than 100k damage or something like that, then you can reset the run. But as you can see here, for this team in particular, note that it does work for lap 2, so you can use it again. We're dealing pretty good damage for a non-Kaori team. So 8 mil or 800k isn't nothing to scoff at. I think we can deal roughly like 1 mil. And if you're wondering, we'll show like the team comps and where I'm pretty much referencing this. If you've seen like the CNCB list, that's where I'm getting all this information. Do we manage to hit 1 mil? 900k, but you can hit like 1 mil plus with this team in particular. So feel free to keep refreshing or do whatever you need to do in order to hit that 1 mil damage for the Wraith boss. Let's go ahead and run the snake team that I was personally happy with, and that is going to be this one in particular, Tamaki. Normal Tamaki, not Summer Tamaki. And some of you are probably wondering, why am I not running like the June Saren comp? Mostly because I believe like what her abilities, you shouldn't let her cast her UB, and the June Saren comp actually scores much less than the Tamaki comp. So we'll show like this Tamaki comp first, and then afterwards we'll run the June Saren comp, just so you guys can get a rough idea on how everything is going. But normal Tamaki, while she isn't Summer Tamaki, she does more or less similar things. And just note that Susanna's crit is guaranteed, so you don't really have to worry about, oh, you know, getting a lucky crit with Susanna. It's mostly just worrying about Kaori if she gets any crits and how that is going to be turning out. So as you can see here, everything's going fine. No one's dying. Of course, this is lap 1. I feel that you can run the same exact team on lap 2, mostly because this boss does not hit that hard. Probably in enraged modes, you have to be a little bit more careful. But as you can see here, we're dealing 800k roughly around the 30-second mark. We're not as great as the Cyclops boss. I feel like the Cyclops boss is just much easier to hit and much easier to deal damage with. But honestly, this is pretty phenomenal damage just going straight out the gates for this boss in particular. 1 mil plus is very nice to see, and we are aiming for roughly 1.2 mil. That's the goal, because I can hit with June Saren comp roughly like 1.1. So as you can see here, we score 1.2 something, and that is a score I'm definitely satisfied with. Let's go ahead and run June Saren comp just to show you the damage differences and why I'm not running that particular team. And in my experience, you can replace, you know, Summer Tamaki with normal Tamaki, but here is going to be Saren and then June. And oh no, wait, we're gonna go ahead and jump out. We're not supposed to be running this. We were supposed to replace Tamaki. All right, let's go ahead and take out Tamaki and then put in Shiori right here, because that is the team that we actually want to run. All right, so this one in particular, and Tamaki is just there, like I said, to reduce TP for like the UBs and stuff, because that's what Summer Tamaki is also good at. But the thing is with Summer Tamaki, she also increases attack speed. That's why she's also really good, and that's the reason why you would want Summer Tamaki, is because increasing attack speed for any situation is really good, and particularly mostly useful for, you know, arena. But in this case, for clan battles, Summer Tamaki is going to be great for increasing attack speed. But we don't have access to Summer Tamaki, at least until like the next CB, so we don't really have to worry about that. But as you can see, like the damage is going to be decent for the June Saren team. I just feel like it's not really as good for this particular CB. Unless you choose to run the June Saren team for Cyclops or for any other boss, you can run June for like the Cyclops boss, or like maybe you want to run it for Wyvern or something. I feel like this team is better suited for that. But honestly speaking, it's not terrible, like in case you don't want to run like the Tamaki team for the snake boss. But as you can see here, we're at the 800k mark, roughly around the 20 seconds. Maybe this team can score 1.2. Maybe I had an unlucky crit, or maybe I had a crit in this run, and that's why we're dealing more damage. But the last one, usually this hits 1.1. So we're at the 1.1 range. Will we hit 1.2? Because there is like a couple seconds left. So it's roughly the same performance. I'm pretty sure there was a lucky crit in there, but feel free to use those two teams in particular, June Saren comp or the Tamaki comp that I showed earlier. Those are going to be the runs for the clan battles July 2021, and they all do work for lap 2. This is going to be the Google spreadsheets that I pretty much have for this particular clan battle July 2021, and as you can see, this is all historical information from the CN clan battle. All right, so in case you're wondering where am I getting this information, and in case you want like more Wyvern comps, here's going to be the one. And like I said, like the Hiyori comp is good for Wyvern, that's going to be the one to run. And you can see like the June comp is going to be good for Griffin. I'm pretty sure you can replace Jita with anyone else. And as you can see, the #1 team for Wraith is going to be the Ilya comp, and the Cyclops comp, I just use the next best thing, which is this one. And usually when you run Ayana, you have to do some sort of manual stuff, so I just sort of avoided that. And then when it comes to like the snake boss, and then I just replaced Summer Tamaki with normal Tamaki, as you saw earlier. And if you're wondering, I do have some of like the screenshots for Summer Tamaki. This isn't a full-blown review, but when it comes down to this, her main thing is that she can increase action speed or attack speed. So that's what makes Summer Tamaki different from normal Tamaki, is her buffing capabilities. Normal Tamaki is definitely able to somewhat perform in some capacity in case you want to reduce the boss's, you know, capabilities to do UBs, because that's going to be like the biggest thing. And the parts that you want to avoid avoid for his UB is going to be inflicting the petrify. All right, that petrify is going to stop you from dealing damage. That's why you don't want Medusa to do her UBs too often. But honestly, that petrify status is probably the most annoying thing. Outside of that, everything should go well, and it's all based off of the timings and everything. But those are going to be the different teams like we talked about earlier. Feel free to rewind the video. Hopefully this helps you out. If you want more granularity and you just want to see like more of the teams, feel free to check out the spreadsheets. And yeah, that is going to be the information for the July clan battle. Hopefully this helps everyone out. But anyways, if you made it this far in today's video, consider subscribing, dropping a like, leaving a comment, follow me on Twitch, follow me on Twitter. Once we hit 27,500 subs, we're doing another giveaway. We're doing a giveaway currently on my previous PGR video. But yeah, that's going to be it. Thanks so much, and see you in the next one.